We almost took urban chic with Tranquil Bay and blended them together in, I guess, what we call harmonious duality as an end result. Sometimes people can't articulate what it is when you look at somewhere and go, I like that. They can't explain why, but it just feels good. My name is Jeremy Bishop. I'm a director at Nettletontribe Architects. We're the architects on the project. We're in Newport, which is a suburb fondly known as the Insular Peninsula. My 3 rules of thumb with projects, or what we do, is make it meaningful, make it enjoyable, make it profitable. That's for everybody involved in the project. If we tick all 3 of those boxes, then normally that's a sign of success.
My name's Ed Horton. I'm a director of Stable Properties. We're a local Sydney developer. We principally create smart and sustainable buildings in both the residential and commercial sector. Our business is based on the Northern Beaches. What's become abundantly apparent is a lack of alternative accommodation for people to move into after they move out of their big house on Pittwater.
The brief from Ed and Danny was they wanted something to be quite distinctive. Traditionally, in the Northern Beaches, the architectural language would be typical weatherboard, American seaside, blue and cream, those kind of colours. We want to turn that on the head.
We sit effectively on a ridge, so everybody gets to enjoy a view. Doesn't matter where they are. So there is no better townhouse. They're all good. We like that Brutalist architecture, simple materials of concrete, steel and glass. We wanted a building that was built with materials that were strong and enduring.
So with Quebec, sustainability was very high on the agenda. That had impacts on ultimately the number of townhouses that were on the site. 18 townhouses in total. The client actually reduced the number of townhouses than originally proposed in order to deliver sustainability, which is a bold move from any developer.
Every home is voice controlled or controlled through a tablet or iPhone or a control centre we've got in each kitchen.
Not as a dictatorial device where you feel like you have to be looking at your phone every 5 minutes to operate your house, but something that assists with the way you live in the place.
Because we're multi-level, we put a commercial grade lift in each one of them, so it allowed people of that demographic and that age from 50 to 70 years old to not be perturbed about the challenge of having to climb stairs all the time. When we were designing this building in Quebec, one of the things that we needed to do was have a look at high-end appliances in the market. One of our suppliers said, you've got to come and have a look at this. It's Fisher Paykel. I said, oh no, we're after the luxury stuff. He says, no, this is luxury. This is the next generation. These guys are taking on the household names in the luxury market and they're going to beat them.
It was important that we could actually integrate some of the appliances. Some products, though, were hard to do that. Dishwashers is always a challenge, so rather than having an exposed stainless steel dishwasher, it was important that the dish drawers themselves were integrated with the same timber veneer finish. The same with the fridge. It too sat within the bank of joinery, so it seamlessly worked from an end aesthetic point of view. And the Fisher Paykel product that we selected allowed us to do that. So the approach we took to the building facade and the general appearance of the building from the street was to create a strong base of the building which grounds the building, and that's reflected in the boarded concrete base. Above that sits the light of more dynamic black metal screens which are operable. So the idea is as different people open and close those, you get quite a different and changing facade. And then above that floats what's like a landscaped capping, which is where our rooftop terraces are, which is one of the biggest features and one of the unique offerings. The duality again about contemporary bold finishes with soft, more sensitive finishes work together as a palette, which is an unusual combination, but we think is quite successful.
Every dwelling has its own solar array, and also in each garage there's an EV charging system, which is directly sourced from the energy that each home will generate.
So the views were one of the biggest assets that we had to try and capture. The roof terrace, once you get up there, you always have a 360 view. The fact that they're covered and sheltered and actually have cooking facilities up there, so the Fisher Paykel grill, cook, prepare, and always be the entertainer.
We learned more about the other appliances, laundry in particular. What fascinated us with the technology going into laundry, with the steam functions in both the washer and the dryer, which we hadn't seen and still don't see in other competing appliances. And the fact that all of the appliances can be connected through an app to control on, off at periods when power was at the best rate. So that was appealing to us from a sustainability point of view and also connectivity.
It's playful but grounded at the same time. It's not a recessive building that blends into the bush. It's very much a building that is a statement, and it's almost located in an urban part of the beachside suburb.
The sense of community that we've created, and we love the fact that our purchasers are very, very excited, and we've created a place of choice and flexibility where people can choose how they want to live